Is this bag the best compact fishing rucksack out there? Stick around to find out. When you first get this rucksack, you will find it is in this beautifully presented box, which has some lovely images on the back that show you how useful the bag can be. The first thing that hit me was the build quality. It doesn't feel like a cheap bag by any sense, and let's be honest, it's not. Currently they're priced around the £86 mark. That is not what I would class as a cheap bag. There's probably the usual Carp tax on it, but in saying that, it is a absolutely brilliant product, and certainly one that you should look at if you are considering getting yourself a rucksack for your fishing. If you already have this Thinking Anglers rucksack, I'd be really keen to hear in the comments how you use yours. Share that with the community and help others make a good decision as to whether to buy or not. So let's dive in a bit more into this rucksack and find out how good or bad it really is. So who is this bag aimed at? I would suggest this is more aimed at the overnighter, the casual angler, the one-day session. I have used it on longer sessions, so I've used it for up to 3-4 days. But what I would say is I've used that in conjunction with other bags, yeah? So the bag capacity is about 40 litres. So depending on how much stuff you're going to bring, you aren't necessarily going to fit everything you need in there. It depends how much stuff you obviously take. I like to have a new t-shirt each day while I'm fishing because I don't want to smell worse than the carp, really. So I like to pack a few clothes, but I don't use this bag for clothes myself. I use this for my essential fishing kit, yeah, so that whether I'm going on a day session or an overnighter or week-long session, all the fishing equipment I need to run that session and, you know, angle accurately and successfully is within that bag, right? So I don't ever have to change what's in here. I just know I've got all the core components I need and I take the bag with me. So that's the way that I use it. Obviously other people may use it differently. I will go through what I've got inside it during this video as well to give a bit of insight into that. The measurements for this are actually printed on the box. So what you've got is a height of 45 centimeters, width of 40 and a depth of 27. Now, when I first got it out of the box, I was a little bit dubious as to thinking, oh, it looks smaller than I thought it would be from the images you see online, which often can be difficult to work out the actual true size of things. However, don't let the fact that it's meant to be like a compact rucksack put you off. You can fit a lot of kit in this, a lot. My bag is rammed full of stuff that I use, and I could fit more in there, but I've regularly tried to get stuff out so that I'm not taking too much stuff. As we all know as carp anglers, you end up packing loads of crap that you ain't going to use most of the time. You end up taking everything bar the kitchen sink, or even the kitchen sink as well. So I've cut it down a bit, but there's loads of room in there, right? So it really does serve a purpose. In terms of the straps, now when I first put this on, what I would say is it didn't live up to expectations in terms of how comfy it is as a bag. That is probably partially down to how much stuff I've got in it, but the straps I don't think are the best. For example, the straps here, they are rigid, so although they're made of foam, it's quite stiff. Now I think that's been done to make the bag more rugged, which is a good thing, right? But there isn't really any extra padding on the inside, so when you've got them on your shoulders, you can tell you've got a bag on your shoulders. Yeah, it's not a comfy bag, I would say, in that sense. So if you were doing a lot of roving around like on a river or something, or even doing loads of stalking, it probably wouldn't be the most comfortable. But in saying that, again, obviously if you made it lighter, it would be more acceptable. There's plenty of padding on the back here, in this area. Now that is really comfy, that's really good, does block it out, but the actual straps just not quite as good. What I do love about these straps though is, so your actual straps, if you wanted to take them apart, they've literally just got clips, right? But to make it more useful, so I often have this like on the front of my barrow, and because it's got these additional straps here, you see, like, so you'd think that's not doing anything, right? But I use that, so I literally plump it on the front shelf of my barrow, and then I tighten these additional straps on up onto the framework, because then the bag is held secure, fully accessible, can still use it. It's absolutely brilliant. What they've also got is, to make it a bit more comfy for when you are using it, they do have the chest strap. Yeah, so you've got a chest strap, so that helps spread the weight across your chest while you're using it. Another good point of the bag is these side handles here. So obviously you don't always want to be picking your bag up by the straps, because obviously naturally it's going to fall and the weight distribution. These straps make it really easy to be able to lug it around, throw it about, put it wherever you need to do and pick it up. So they're a real nice extra addition to the bag. Another good point about the bag is on the front you have, which hopefully I'm giving you a good enough for you to see, you have these straps here. Okay, now I've put a bank stick in there just so you can see. So you've got these straps, and at the bottom you've got like slots, and they can come out through the bottom. Now you basically have 3 of them on each side, so you can easily fit your alarms, your bank sticks on there. Personally, I don't leave my alarms on there because they'd still probably get a bit battered. I'll keep them in a separate case. But the kind of spare bank sticks, and like at the moment I've got some bits of my kids' stuff on here, I use them for that because they store well. One thing I would say is they don't hold all sticks brilliantly. So I've got one of the ESP bank sticks here, and hopefully you can see that basically it does slide about a lot, so I often end up having to tie some on there so it doesn't just keep sliding around. But and that obviously the impact of that is that's lower than the bag, so when I put it down that hits into the ground and moves up, as you can see. You know, that's just a very minor point. It doesn't bother me at all really, but I'll just mention it to you guys on the video, so it's something you know about really. The bag does have also an additional handle at the back here. I didn't mention about before, so just so you know, there's also one there. The Thinking Anglers Rucksack and a lot of their pouches and other systems have molly on them, so they got these Velcro, well they're not Velcro, but they got these tabs on the side so you can weave bits through like military style kit. That's really good. So you can see, like, I've got my float for my net on there, so that literally just sticks on there, and you can obviously you can use that obviously to put other things in. That's on both sides, so both them side pockets have that. They've recently brought out an additional extra molly pad pack that you can put on there that I'll hopefully show on the screen at the moment. So you can actually have it on the side with extra kit, which I will definitely get that at some point. It's about £22, well worth having, because it makes this kit modular. You can take bits off and use them in different ways. When I bought the bag at the time, they were doing like a bundle combo. So if you're buying the bag as I've seen it currently in most stores, you would get just the bag itself, yeah, and it comes in that box. However, when I bought it, you could get it in the bundle, which also included this, which is the Camfleck compact tackle pouch. You will see in these videos the pouch I've got on the top, so that won't come with just the bag, yeah? This is on top, but it fits there like an absolute glove. Like, if you were going to spend that much money on this bag, you would absolutely have to use this. I probably use this more than any other bit of kit I currently have, and I will explain why during the video. Now this top bit, so this is the bit I was saying about, which is the compact tackle pouch. So that is held on just by 2 straps there, yeah, so you undo them, and that's the pouch. So if you don't get that pouch, the bag will be looking more like this, okay? So flat on the top. Still looks absolutely fine. Will obviously lessen the weight if you've got less bits on there. And at the top, what you have is a very handy, so there's a zip that goes around there. Now this top bit opens, and you have a flat little tray here, okay, which also pops out. As you can see, I've just got like a bit of a heli safe and a hook and stuff there, but you can see that is a nice little tray that you can then get out, you know, have it on your lap to do. You can just leave it in the bag. Like generally I leave that in the bag a lot, and I'm just working off the top of it. It gives you a little work space there. So like for me, that's one absolute banging bit of kit. But also there's no wasted space, yeah. So because then you've also got a compartment in the top, so you could put hooks or whatever you want in the top there as well. And obviously where this is like that, it's kept down. I quite often have leaders and such in there. That it's kind of like a ready to go area for me, that one, because you can very easily, quickly get bits out. And so it has a zip that comes inside. Then you move down the bag slightly, and you then have the next zip. Now that zip will open up the whole bag. So obviously you've got to make sure you zip that top one up, otherwise you fling it and everything gets chucked out and you got it there. So I keep things like baby wipes for cleaning hands if I'm getting muck on me all the time, or about to eat my food. Hat, rig safe. Now what's really good about the rig safe side of it is inside the bag, as I'm going to show you, there's these little side like dividers, we call them. So basically this has its own area that it just slots straight into in my bag. So there's no like moving bits about, digging things from the bottom to get it in. It just goes in and out, super easy, straight in the bag, straight out. And it's the perfect, like, I don't know, they've obviously like really planned how this is, because it's the perfect, you know, I've got that's the large rig safe, and it's the perfect height of the bag, so it fits in there absolutely like a dream. What I also have in there is I have one of the compact 200s, I think that's a 200, one of their pouches. I think I've got all my zig stuff in there off the top of my head from the last session. Got that in there. I've got super smelly regular old tea towel. Got some sun cream, and do you know what, I haven't even got that much in here compared to what I would have, but there's other dividers in here and other spots where you could have head torches, all sorts of stuff, and that's just in your main compartment. You can fit absolutely loads in there. So I know the front pouch will be of interest to lots of people. You can see it's obviously quite a large front pouch. Now there is only one thing that I keep in here, that you could use it for a multitude of purposes, but I would suggest, based on the fact that it is an absolute perfect size for what I'm going to show you I've got in here, I'd imagine it's what most people use it for, and probably partially what it's been designed for. So again, you've got your zips. So I should have pointed out actually is on all the zips, they've got really nice little tags, so it's a bit easier to get hold of them that have Thinking Anglers on them, and they're grippy, so even if you've got wet hands. But basically inside this front pouch we have a tackle box, absolute perfect size for it. So that's their main one, not the basics one, but that obviously the basics would fit in there, but that literally goes in here like a glove. It is quite a snug fit actually. I would say that, like, when I first got it I was struggling a little bit to get it in, but I did realise you basically have to put the zips right to the bottom and then put it in, and I guess the fabric probably stretches a tiny amount over time, but if you don't put the zips right to the bottom, it's difficult to get in. So yeah, put them right to the bottom and then zip that up. So, but that's nice and accessible at the front again, so really nice and easy to use. Side pockets have plenty of room in them. Again, I've actually got, funny enough, I've got another sun cream in there, so I've obviously doubled up at some point. I was wondering where they'd all gone. I also have some other Operation Carp Triforce hook baits. I've also got, see, when I bought mine, you've got these little pouches and such as well, right? So this is a little waterproof pouch. I've got PVA in there. You can still buy these separate, but as I said, I bought it as like a bundle box. I cannot remember off the top of my head how much the bundle was. I want to say 100, but that wouldn't make sense to me. It would be too cheap because it was obviously a while ago now. Maybe 120, maybe, I don't know, but that's another little bit that I got with it. I also got, which is handy, this little pouch. Now what I use this for in the side pocket, that is for leads. So I've got a load of leads in there. Obviously the more you put in there, the heavier your bag's going to be. I can fit tons more in there, but I don't, for that exact purpose, I don't want it being really heavy. And this is still just this one side pocket. I've then got some silicone tubing, I've got some boom material in there. What else have I got? I've got some hooks in the hook safe in there. So there's many in there, there's a few in there done. But yeah, and I could easily still fit more in there. So that's just a bit of an insight into how much stuff you can fit in them side pockets. Pockets though are really good, a really good height as well, because for example in this one I have a PVA funnel. Yeah, so obviously you guys, if you've used these, you know how big they are, and again just slips in there absolutely perfectly. And I've got my Jag hook sharpener in there, got some toilet roll in there for when you get caught short at a lake. I think that's all I got in this one. Oh, and I got some string for my distance sticks in there as well. But again, you could fit tons and tons and tons more in there. But that's just to give you a bit of an idea of what I put in the bag and how I use it. One point of noting with this bag is it is not fully waterproof. So if you're looking for a bag that is entirely waterproof, this isn't the bag. You will feel straight away as soon as you get the bag what the material's like. It's, you know, not going to stand up to massive showers or anything. I haven't had my equipment get wet while using it. However, I generally have it just on the outside of my bivvy. It's probably got a bit of cover from the peak, etc. I don't leave it outside. So that's kind of what I use it for. If you were roving, etc., it would get wetter, I'd suggest it would seep through. So just bear that in mind if you're buying it and looking for something that's going to be entirely waterproof. You ain't going to get it with this. A point I just want to make about distance sticks: if you're using like the small ninja sticks by Jag, for example, they will fit either in the main compartment or in these side things fine. I have a set of the large quarter distance sticks, and they are taller than the bag, yeah, so if you get them they won't fit in. I have mine at the side by these bits, so I basically zip around so it's held in there. But yeah, just be aware of that if you're buying wanting to be distance sticks in there. Unless you've got short ones, they're gonna be too long. Obviously you can refer back to the measurement sizes I gave in the video also. Now, whilst there is an argument that this bag is too small if you were doing a week session, I would still say it does depend on how you're going to use it. The way in which I'm using it, I will be taking it on every session that I do. I rarely get to do week sessions because of obviously looking after kids, etc. However, like when I go to Gigantica again next year, I'll be taking that because it just serves that purpose of just having all my main fishing equipment in one place. I can take that wherever I go for whatever type of session it is, and I know all the core bits I need are there. So for me, it's an absolute banging rucksack. Would I buy it again? Absolutely yes, 100 times over. I would probably rate this as my all-time top buy now. And I didn't think I'd ever say that over the quarter tackle box because I really love that. But actually, since I got this bag, I do not use that as much because of that little molly pouch on the top, because it's just changed how I do things. So this is my new #1 buy. Absolutely love it. Yes, I'm definitely not going to be saying that this is cheap, and I wouldn't be saying this is aimed at your new anglers, because I think most people will look and go, there's no way I'm spending 90 quid on a bag. But I was there once. The more addicted you get to carp angling, you end up spending more and more on kit because you become more finicky as to exactly what you're looking for. This hit all the boxes for me. I'm mega happy with it. It's an absolutely banging bit of kit, and as I said, because it works with other Thinking Angler kit as well, like the extra molly pouch they've created, I'll be getting that in future because it just gives me even more options. Obviously at the moment though, I don't really need it. I expect I'll end up buying it at some point anyway because it looks cool. That is something definitely worth mentioning with this bag, is it is cool, right? I think the Thinking Anglers Camfleck so their camouflage pattern is probably the coolest. I really like the Corda dark camo, but I certainly would have both of them right up there. It's super, super cool, the Thinking Anglers equipment. Absolutely, I would 100% buy it again. And I hope this video has helped you make a decision as to whether to buy the bag or not. I haven't been endorsed or sponsored by them or anything like that to do this bag. I bought the bag with my own money, so it's entirely my opinion, but I hope it's helped you make a good decision as to whether to buy it or not. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm only a small channel, so every watch, like, comment really helps improve the quality of videos and keep me motivated to make more tight lines.